Fargo, renowned for its intricate storytelling and dark, whimsical humor, continued to captivate audiences with its fifth season. Episode 6, in particular, concluded on a note that left viewers both intrigued and yearning for explanations. True to the show's signature style, this episode interwove diverse character arcs and thematic elements, culminating in a climax that sets the stage for the remainder of the season. Let's delve into the ending of this latest episode and analyze the dynamics that shape the narrative. Episode 6 built up to a climactic conclusion, intricately intertwining the fates of key characters in unexpected ways. This pinnacle was not merely a culmination of the episode's events, but also a setup for future developments in the season. The episode witnessed significant progressions for several central characters, whose paths coincided in surprising and impactful manners. The climax encompassed a series of events that were both astonishing and profoundly symbolic, adding layers of depth to the characters and their motivations. To fully grasp the significance of Episode 6's ending, it is essential to consider the thematic elements that Fargo often explores. Morality, chance, and the complexities of the human condition are central themes in the series, and this episode effectively encapsulated these profound ideas. We've reached the midway point of the fifth season of the show, and the plot is heading towards its conclusion. This episode, without Dorothy, focused on the power dynamics between Lorraine Lyon and Roy Tillman. We also gained deeper insights into Indira and an intriguing opportunity that came her way. Additionally, the inclusion of a reference to No Country for Old Men added another layer of depth. Join us as we recap, analyze, and uncover the key takeaways from the ending of Episode 6 of Fargo, Season 5. Please note, this video contains spoilers. During the final moments of the episode, it became evident that Lorraine was gradually developing empathy towards Dorothy. As Alstead handed over Dorothy Nadine's file, glimpses of her past suffering under her former husband, Roy Tillman, were revealed. This solidified the reasons behind Nadine's escape from the Tillman Ranch many years ago. The abuse had become unbearable, and perhaps she feared for her life if she stayed. There was a particularly alarming moment in this episode when Roy lashed out at his current wife for accidentally cutting his head while he was moving. This incident exposed his violent tendencies towards his partners. Upon witnessing the violent tendencies displayed towards his current wife, contemplating the possible fate of Nadine, and learning of another missing wife, one cannot help but speculate that his first wife may have met a similar unfortunate end. Roy possesses a certain proficiency in concealing his involvement in murders, as exemplified throughout the 6-episode spree of this season. Even in this episode, he dispatched Mr. Seymour without a second thought upon realizing the mistaken identity. Thus, it is plausible that the wife, whose presence we have only glimpsed in a photograph, may have met an untimely demise and been discreetly laid to rest. Perhaps Nadine harbored this knowledge, which led to her belief that she could be his next victim. During his conversation with Ola, Roy alluded to this possibility. He said, "I've never had a problem trying to break a woman before, but this one." This not only reveals Roy's perception of the women in his life, but also highlights the resistance that Nadine faced during that period. Throughout this season of the show, Lorraine and Dorothy have found themselves on opposing sides. However, upon delving into Dorothy's experiences and understanding her motives for concealing her true identity, a newfound comprehension has arisen. Alstead pointed out the similarities between Lorraine and Dorothy, and it holds true. They are both strong women, albeit in contrasting ways. Yet their shared devotion to their families is a unifying force, compelling them to go to great lengths for their loved ones. Lorraine is beginning to recognize this truth. The resilience displayed by Dorothy, her ability to move forward and prioritize her family's well-being, has left Lorraine feeling inspired. A shift in their relationship and an emergence of acceptance seem imminent. The foreshadowing in the line, "Oh Monk and the Tans," hints at the impending downfall of both characters. O is well aware of their lifestyles and problem-solving approaches, understanding that their line of work breeds enemies. This serves as a nod to the likelihood that one, if not both, of them will meet their demise before the season finale. Roy attempts to address his numerous issues by paying off the impending threat, aiming to avoid the potential death that looms over him. This payment method has been his go-to strategy with many of Roy's other men. O said a line, "When a man digs a grave, he has to fill it, otherwise it's just a hole." Right after Roy spoke about Nadine and described her as a tiger to his mouse, he mentioned that she was merely toying with him, her prey. Roy has metaphorically dug a grave for Nadine, yet he yearns to have her back. However, contemplating the possibility of giving up and leaving her behind due to the potential hassle suggests that it would leave behind an unfilled void, a void that can never fulfill its intended purpose. In the final moments of the scene, as Ola collected his money and prepared to depart, Gator impatiently waited by his car. It was evident that he still harbored deep anger, fueled by the knowledge that people he once knew had lost their lives at Ola's hands. Good men are gone, and yet you remain, wandering the earth and breathing the air that rightfully belongs to them. This simmering resentment would soon intertwine with the next phase of our story. Gator's placement of a tracking device beneath Ola's car foreshadowed the Coen brothers' film No Country for Old Men, as the device mirrored the one used in the case holding $2 million. I believe Gator is determined to locate Ola's residence and eliminate him there. The trailer suggests we will witness this moment when someone arrives, reminiscent of the scene in the movie Fargo, where Carl met his demise by an axe. It will be intriguing to see how Gator's unsuccessful attempts at home invasions will play a role in his pursuit of Ola, and whether he will ultimately meet a similar fate in a wood chipper. In this episode, the focus was on power and how it was wielded. It began with Roy Tillman's visit to the club, ensuring that Vivian didn't sell the bank to Lion as a way to punish Laura for not revealing information about Dorothy. Ulra knew that Tillman was behind the deal being rescinded, thanks to a note he left her that read, "Not on my watch." So, when the news broke that Vivian was backing out, she recognized Roy's hand in it. This prompted her to assert her own power. With Vivian out of the picture, Laura followed through on her previous episode's promise by having the financial services investigate Vivian's accounts and inflict suffering on him and his family as consequences of his actions. This demonstrated that what initially scared him, Roy, was nothing compared to the torment Lorraine would unleash upon him. It revealed her determination to find a way to emerge victorious. Lorraine shares similarities with both Dorothy and Roy, displaying a strong survival instinct and unwavering determination. However, unlike Dorothy, Lorraine is driven by a fear of losing and is willing to harm others to secure victory. This sets the stage for a clash between two formidable individuals, with Lorraine now reconsidering her perspective on Dorothy. It is likely that Lorraine will emerge triumphant, while Roy may face defeat. Additionally, Lion may introduce complications by interfering in the upcoming election that Roy deeply cares about, potentially leading to his downfall. Indira Alstead held a distinct perspective on Dorothy, perceiving her as the sole victim. Surprisingly, even the FBI failed to recognize this. Instead, they saw her as a mere pawn in their case, a means to extract information about Roy that would lead to his arrest. They overlooked the fact that Dorothy had endured years of abuse and had made every effort to escape and remain hidden. Early in the episode, Indira's lackluster husband expressed his desire for her to be a traditional housewife, fulfilling domestic duties and attending to his needs. In essence, he mirrored Roy Tillman's behavior, prompting Indira's frosty response. It is his actions that have driven them into debt, leaving her to struggle to make ends meet. Among the poignant lines she delivered, one stood out. "We'll discuss later who needs a wife." Based on this definition, it became evident that she required assistance with all those tasks, especially considering his unemployment and their financial situation. In the final moments of the episode, Indira's realization about Scotty's neglectful treatment under his care prompted her to take action. She decided to bring Scotty to Elle's house, knowing it would provide a safe haven for the child. It was during this encounter that Lorraine offered Indira a remarkable opportunity to become the head of her security team. Additionally, Lorraine proposed a plan to help Indira repay her debt, essentially granting her a fresh start and liberating her from the struggles she had endured. However, Indira found herself contemplating this life-altering decision. While I believe she is inclined to accept the offer, her partner's potential objections could lead to complications within their relationship. This season of the show has explored the treatment of women by certain men, and we have witnessed glimpses of her partner's perspective emerging. Consequently, I can't help but wonder if this decision may have some unfortunate consequences. Overall review. This episode of the show was quite enjoyable. While it may have been slower compared to the action-packed previous episodes of the season, it served as a necessary breather. After 5 intense episodes, it allowed us to regain our bearings and set the stage for the final few episodes leading up to the season finale. I must say, I really missed Juno Temple's presence in this episode. Her character is not only likable, but also plays a vital role in tying all the storylines together. Without her, there was a slight loss of coherence. However, I'm eagerly anticipating the next episode, which seems to promise a return to the action. It's highly likely that Gator will face the consequences of breaking Roy's deal and persisting in his pursuit to kill Ola. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to it. So there you have it, the ending of Episode 6 of Fargo Season 5 explained. It was a great episode that set up the stage for what promises to be an exciting finale. Let's see what unfolds in the coming episodes. But what are your thoughts on this episode? What questions do you have about the ending? Share your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in.